point.
It's just being old.
Yeah.
Are you 30 now? No, you're 29.
Oh,
I'm 29.
Let's give him a little bit more credit.
I know.
So
Don't jump
close.
ahead.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And since I probably won't be on until July, happy birthday to me as well in the future.
And me.
Happy birthday to Kaylin.
I'm a Taurus, baby.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. May or
April.
April
29th.
Taurus.
Yeah.
I was going to say May 29th, so
No.
I'm wrong.
You're way off. It's okay.
I know I'm May
Wait,
29th.
Isn't
personally.
Vonko May?
Vonko is June. Or no, I think he's the last day of May. Yeah. Yeah. We should introduce our guest because we haven't done that yet.
So, welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast, the podcast where we answer the question, is this a perfect movie? I'm Michael.
I'm Kayla.
And today we have our returning guest, our
Fourth.
This is your fourth. That's, your 3-time right now.
Oh,
After today, you will be 4-time returning when you return, right? I feel like that math checks out.
Hold on.
I don't think that's how you would say it.
That's not how you would say
Let's
it?
do some math. And the first one was...
Oh, but third time returning. So
Third
you wouldn't
time,
count
yeah.
the first one. So yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Because it was Puss in Boots,
Puss in Boots,
/
Broly.
Broly was the same one though.
Yeah, same episode.
Mad Max, Twilight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the longest running
You're a
returning guest.
recurring character.
in the Perfect Movie Podcast, oeuvre. Do you like that word?
I don't even know what you said.
Say that again.
Oeuvre. It's a
Oeuvre.
French
Oeuvre?
word, and I'm pretty sure it means close to just like universe or like the sort of like surrounding the habitat. Like the Hobbit is in the Lord of the Rings. Oeuvre.
How do
I'm
you
pretty
know
sure
this?
that means grapes or egg. I'm almost positive.
Okay. Anyways,
As
Either
someone who
grapes,
studied
eggs,
Italian,
or universe.
yeah,
it's Kayla. She's back. Yay!
Yay!
And it's Friends February, which means our friends are bringing us movies for us to watch. So, Kayla, you brought us this movie.
I did.
You said you have a reasoning behind why you picked it. Do we want to get into that right now as
Sure.
you tell the people what movie we watched?
Yeah, so it's kind of surprising because I never actually saw the movie prior to suggesting it, but this movie has been a recurring theme in my life because people watch it and say that it reminds them of me. Okay. And it's like constant. And so I was like, I should probably actually watch this movie that people always like bring up to me. So
Do they have a particular character? Because I feel like certain characters, that's a really sad statement, and certain characters, that's an okay statement.
yeah, good. I know. So I just finished it this morning. I FaceTimed my sister. She was in the supermarket, and I was literally sobbing. And she was like, "Oh, did you get to the part?" I'm like, "Yes, I did." And she's like, "You're such a tortured artist." And I'm like, "Don't tell me that. I'm not mentally stable enough to hear that statement from you in this moment." So, no, I have theories as to why. I'm curious if you guys, first of all, would agree with that. I know that this is new news to you that I hadn't seen it. But do you feel like it's Kayla adjacent?
Well, the movie that we're referring to, because I don't think we said this, is...
Oh, did we? Oh,
No, go
love
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Dead Poet Society.
Yes.
Dare to walk a new path. Dare to strike out and find new ground.
Audiences and critics have found a new and different kind of movie. A movie that's left them cheering and touched their lives. Touchstone Pictures presents Robin Williams
Well, is this a dagger I see before me?
in the most highly acclaimed movie of the year, Dead Poet Society.
Language was developed for one endeavor, and that is to communicate. No, to woo women.
Gene Shalit hailed Dead Poet Society as a classic, one of the most magnificent motion pictures I've seen.
Tear out the entire introduction. Rip, shred, tear.
It's a compelling drama. Robin Williams' acting will astonish you. Rave sneak previews.
This is a battle, a war, and the casualties could be your hearts and souls.
And Joel Siegel proclaims Robin Williams brilliant. Robin Williams, he'll make you laugh.
I like fire and I give him a 42, but I can't dance to it.
He'll make you feel.
Seize the day.
He'll make you care.
Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits. But poetry, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for.
Touchstone Pictures presents Dead Poet Society. Discover for yourself what all the cheering is about.
I don't really see it because it's like, I mean, are you an academic? Would
Yes.
you say that? Okay.
Oh, 100%.
All right. So I'm not I just met you during like our filming of our episodes. So I don't know like your backstory. I don't know like your entire life. I do see some tortured artistry going on with you though. So
Well, listen here, listeners. We're going to start on July 18th, a dreary Tuesday, 1995.
Oh, we're going all the way back.
all the way back.
I mean, I can see just the general anybody that works in schools where you'd be like, you should check out this movie because it's supposed to be like a great example of teaching and, you know, kind of not being stuck in the system of education and, you know,
It's funny
having a
'cause-
broader idea of what education is.
Yeah.
Every time I watch movies like this, like the teacher is motivating the students, it kind of reignites like a passion I have for like education. Just because I've been in this field for so long, and then as soon as the movie's over, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck this,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I think this movie had even though it's not your typical like urban kids.
It's not, what is it? Stand and Deliver?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
or
the
like
Freedom Riders.
Freedom
Yeah.
Riders.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's like the your
The white savior
textbook white savior kind of like teacher is
Yeah.
teaching these inner city kids how to dance and how to I don't know.
Stop selling drugs and do
Yeah.
math homework.
Yeah, you can get out of here if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, you have opportunity just like everybody else.
Sister
Just like
Act
I
2.
did.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, no. Fortunately, I don't think the mics are picking up on that. That's going to be awful if it does. He's right there. I don't know if the mics are picking up on this, but my neighbors just started sawing stuff on this saw table, like, 20 feet outside my window. So we might have to, if this continues being a thing, we might need to go back and I need to see. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do, but I just want to go back and see if it's like
Yeah, I think that's warranted.
a horrific thing. But he's going for that. Measure twice, cut once, sir.
Oh no!
Please.
It's a long piece of wood.
My D&D podcast that I absolutely adore. I literally bought a sticker that says "Measure once, cut twice."
Oh, he's going for it. Oh yeah.
I don't think that's
Is
loud
that picking
enough.
up? Hold on. Where's my mic? Is it in the middle?
I don't think it's picking up much.
I can
We can just pause
replicate
for a
it.
All right, he's done. He's packing it up.
Bye. I see. This is what I don't understand about woodworkers is like you just did all of that setup to cut things.
Well, you got to make sure the measurements are right. You know. Yeah.
I'm a
Get your
measure once, cut
dimensions
twice
down.
gal. I have a sticker from Redbubble.
This guy might be a perfectionist, though. You never know.
Maybe. Although, if that's the man I've seen eat sandwiches through his window, he just kind of stands there. Okay, so my bedroom window and their kitchen window are like directly across from each other. So every once in a while, if it's like nighttime and the light's on, I'll just see what's going on, and I'm sure vice versa. I don't remember. He was just making like a peanut butter and honey sandwich, and he kept licking the spoon after like every swipe.
Dang, you were watching this guy.
So I'm just
intently.
I don't know if I respect this guy's morals.
You should make a sandwich, and next time you see, like, just have your sandwich ready.
Yeah.
And then as he's doing that, you should just eat a sandwich in your window.
And just stare him down.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
be
Okay, should we talk about the movie?
Yes. We were talking about movies that are kind of along the same vein as
There's
Dead
a lot.
Poets Society.
I think especially in the like mid 80s to mid 90s, I feel like this was a big, because that's when like, again, Sister Act 2, I think like Stand and Deliver,
This came out in 1989.
I think Lean on Me.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of these. Like,
This is the Hallmark genre.
yeah,
kind
and
of,
the
right.
like teachers rock genre.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is a little less teachers rock than say School of Rock, a movie that is on. We have an episode on, but
I knew you were gonna bring that
a
up.
movie
I
where
literally
a teacher kidnaps a bunch
had a
of children.
bet that you were gonna bring that up.
Bring school.
I mean,
School of
you
Rock.
have to, because I feel like Jack Black and Robin Williams, while they are different, very different people, they have similar energy, and they're also both comedians that take these like I mean, it's a sillier movie, but they are taking a similar like swing.
And they also kind of like make their children into a cult.
Yeah, and their movie's built around like a, a comic actor, like, you know, controlling a room, controlling a classroom.
So this is, I want to touch base again on like why people think that I am like this movie and vice versa. And I was super interested to hear your thoughts because I honestly don't think either of you know like my style or like who I am outside of certain environments. Like I dress like this when I come to podcasting because I'm not doing anything besides seeing YouTube, right? And like you saw me at work, but like you can get stuff ruined at work all the time. So like I dress like dark academia. Like that is like, if you look at the style of my tattoo, like this is literally like dark.
Is that a raven?
It is a raven. Sweet. So, and I'm a big like Edgar Allan Poe fan. Like my cat's named after him, you know, so it's like people don't know that about me unless if you like actually like know who I am like on the streets.
Do you wear like the academia robes like Harry Potter?
I've been looking for cloaks for a really long time. They're really expensive. But I do have like my current winter coat is one that like kind of flares like Red Robin Hood.
That's pretty
sick.
sick.
It's very cloaky. So
I really love the that theme. You know what I mean? Like the dark academia stuff. You know what it reminds me of? And I don't think you would understand this reference. Maybe you would. The game Bully by Rockstar.
Oh, nope. I know exactly what
Bully?
you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, it's got that same type of vibe. It's like a very like East Coast town.
Mm-hmm. East Coast boarding school.
Yeah. We're like, yeah. The other thing is Robin Williams and I've been compared to him like pretty much my whole life because like I was an actress kind of when I was younger, and I was actually going to go into acting and decided not to. But like we are both ENFPs, like Myers-Briggs, and we're both cancers. So
very nice.
I've always felt like this weird connection to him. I also think he was like a really big face for our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Like he was really popular when we were in that developmental stage of like watching movies and starting to, you know, develop our own cultural phenomenon. So like I'm not special in that way, but also like I think that the way I act and like how I've been casted in certain things is like very similar to Robin.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting because I've heard people say both things. It's like, oh, Robin Williams as like more of an Enneagram type 4 role of like this like tortured poet, this you know, this really there's a buzzsaw again. Sorry, I lost.
Do we feel like I don't know for my memory, which is true, but I feel like the tortured soul thing for Robin Williams only happened posthumously. We thought he was just a goofy guy that sometimes took serious roles. Like I don't think the general public knew until Robin Williams passing, like, you know, the breadth of this person, you know?
I think this role, though, he kind of has that. Like, he comes back from London to, like, he calls it, because what is the school name? Like, Welmar, and he calls it Helmar?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I'm saying this specific character.
Okay.
Actually, I have issues with his character, but I want to save it towards let the hate flow through. And it's nothing, like, condemning on his character, but
sure.
There's just some issues I had with, like, his role in the film. I just think it wasn't very fleshed out, but we'll get into that more. I think that's a good time to move into performance test.
It was the performance of a lifetime.
The performance test is where we talk about our favorite actors, characters, and moments, scenes. I think we've already started on Robin Williams, so we can maybe keep talking about Robin Williams in this movie.
I kind of want to kind of like harken back to what you were saying, Kayla, about how like just big of a role he played in our childhood. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite movies growing up was the movie Hook. I don't know if you've seen Hook before.
I haven't seen it, but
it's Peter Pan, basically.
Yes.
But Robin Williams plays an older Peter Pan that goes back to Neverland and kind of like he forgets his past as he's an adult in the real world, and he goes back to Neverland, and then he remembers everything slowly. Mm-hmm. He's just a lovable guy, man. I don't really know how to like explain his essence, but I just remember like always knowing who he was growing up. And it's weird because there's certain actors like that. You got actors like Jim Carrey, kind of falls in the same line as that. Just different people like that you're so accustomed to seeing, and then they kind of like shape who you are, or like shape your morals, even though they don't really do anything. It's just us. I think that speaks to the power of film, really.
Parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams has really like changed over time, because his first introduction is Mork and Mindy, which is a sitcom in the 70s where I think they're like an alien couple stranded on Earth.
Yep.
He's a massive stand-up artist or stand-up comedian. Like he's one of the biggest in the world in like the early 80s. It's like him and Richard Pryor are like the biggest stand-up. And then he moves into this new phase of his career where he's more of an actor. And it's funny because his acting career, it's either these like serious roles that are largely in good movies. It's like this, Good Will Hunting, Insomnia, a movie I brought up on the last podcast. Or it's like some of the worst movies you've ever seen. It's like Patch Adams.
Or like Mrs. Doubtfire. Where it's, like not necessarily it's not good cinematically, but it's like a feel good, like childhood movie.
It's a lot of like family comedies or like a more serious.
What was
really
the movie
RV?
Role. You ever seen RV?
My
That was
God.
from like the 2010, the early 2010s.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I think he just has such a grasp on things. Like when you think of the movie Aladdin, like the first character I think of is Genie. Like even though
totally
literally
forgot
the
he voiced
name is Aladdin, like you should think of the character Aladdin, but you don't. Like
you don't think of Will Smith's portrayal of Aladdin of the genie in the Aladdin remake?
I've stopped watching the live remakes because they're so bad.
I think a big part of Robin Williams' like character too is like all his impressions. And like you think about the Genie character, that was like his whole thing.
You can't stop him from doing it. He did it in this movie too.
Yeah.
He found a way to put a Marlon Brando impression in the middle.
Yeah,
of
he
that.
did. Yeah, he did.
You can't hold him back.
He's also just got like a wonderful voice. It's like the type of voice you want him to like read you a bedtime story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, soothing.
Yeah. So he's a gem.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
got a real like the comic Mr. Rogers-y like personality where he just seems like a great family man. Like he's just like a swell guy.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Gold star.
Well, and I've those like stupid clickbait articles. It's like I was a waitress at a celebrity restaurant, and like these are the people that were nice, and like he always was one that was like a genuine person and wasn't a dick to like service industry people. I don't know why that stuck with me, but it just feels like he was just genuine in everything he does. He's not like, I present this face of being this fun, loving, caring person. Like that's who he actually was outside of his roles too.
James Corden, he is not. James Corden is famous for being like the absolute worst to all wait staff and servers.
I know, and it's like hard to believe.
Well, you can tell. Like, I mean, you cannot. Not that you can tell, but like hearing that and then seeing him and stuff, you're like, okay, this guy seems like a douche. You know?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit narcissistic.
Oh, I'm
to
sure.
be honest, but he's like really good friends with like Harry. But then Harry stopped being so. I don't know.
Who's Harry? Are we talking Harry Styles?
Of course.
Because you could be talking about Prince Harry, Harry Potter.
Michael.
Knowing you, it could be several Harrys.
I was just gonna say, look me in the eye and tell me that I would talk about multiple Harrys. So now I'm confused.
Harry Potter?
That's true. Which again, Dark Academia, like
there you go.
Dark Academia fantasy is like exactly where like my lines cross.
I definitely do like that genre. Like it's pretty. I love the gothic setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
This,
so pretty.
This movie did get nominated for a few Oscars. It got nominated for Best Picture. Robin Williams was nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role, which, interestingly, I don't really think this is the leading role of the movie. Is Robin Williams?
I don't think so either.
Best Director for Peter Weir. They didn't win any of those, but the Best Screenplay did go to Tom Schulman for the screenplay, which I guess this is sort of not like completely biographical, but it's based on his own experiences at a New England boarding school. Or actually, I think this boarding school was in southern United States. But
you said Virginia.
I said
right?
nothing.
No, we talked about this before we started because I asked you where this was set.
Vermont. I said it was set in Vermont.
I knew it was
Kayla
something with a V. My geography has been fucked up recently.
Oh, okay.
Geographically challenged.
Yeah,
over
Mr.
here.
Puerto Rico. I listened.
I want to apologize for that in the last episode. I was way out of line, and I apologize to all the Puerto Ricans.
So
Your
funny.
birthday, I'm getting you a map.
Thanks. I need that, honestly.
It's really funny.
So I know we're in the performance test, but I kind of want to talk about.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I want to just say, like, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I don't think we really talked about our relationship to this, but this is my first time ever seeing this. I think, Michael, this was your first time seeing it too.
Yep.
I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this was going to be pretentious, but I found it to be very human.
You know what
And,
Tom
like-
Schulman does after this? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh,
Shut
God. That's also a great movie, though.
You're such a liar.
No, screenplay. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And then What About Bob? A couple years later.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids has some great practical effects.
I'm sorry, Kaylin. You were talking about something.
No, I was
important.
saying that this movie felt very, it felt very human.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that because you think rich kids in academia, what do they know about humanity and what do they know about being a human being? Because everything is laid out in front of them. But like you really see like the troubles that they go through, and then also this kind of like I don't want to say sexual energy, but it's like this.
It's
like
queer coded, 1,000,000,000%.
Oh.
It's literally an LGBT movie with no explicit LGBT
Right.
relationship.
And I like that concept of like these kids are all in this place sharing this experience together. They have nobody else to like rub this energy off of onto.
Say what?
And so
Gwyneth Paltrow was there.
they have nobody to rub one off to.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, but I thought it was very human, and I appreciated that aspect of it. And just like the ideas of like individuality and like how we don't have to conform to like a patriarchal society and we can become our own person. I think that's something that every child needs to hear, you know? And so I thought that the message was pretty empowering. So
That's the Enneagram type 4 stuff. Like that's my Enneagram. That's also Michael's. I'm a 4-wing 3 or a 4-wing 5.
Sounds right.
When I made you take it back in 2022. But it's like the idea of someone who wants to be like an individualist, like wants to be special, wants to find beauty in all things. It's like kind of like the romantic of the sense of like find beauty in everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that this movie's whole tone is that, you know, it sees the day. Like that's the motto of it, right?
Carpe diem.
Carpe diem. I almost said say la vie. I'm like, that's wrong. That's not true.
C'est la vie.
So,
I have some. I'm just going to take us down a different path. You guys are all right about all those things.
okay, we're coming with you. What
that
you
you
doing?
just said. But I just wanted to. So you guys were like, you mentioned the rich kids and they have the path laid in front of them, and I was just thinking, these are things that just rich people do. These are just rich people activities. I've never seen a person that, didn't own several properties do any of these.
Before you start this, do you guys know that I coach high school basketball at an all-boys Catholic military preparatory?
I did not know that.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know
That's
that.
been my whole... You did or did not? Oh, that's been my whole life for the past 3 months. So
Okay.
I won't say where for the sake of, protecting myself, but I'm really interested to hear this because my eyes have been opened.
It's a different world.
I
literally.
mean, I'm literally in like the pickup line and I'm like surrounded by like Porsches and Range Rovers and I'm like, excuse me.
Must
can
be
I-"
fucking nice.
I'm trying to park so I can coach your children. Thank you.
This is a short list, but this just all happened in a montage of just outdoor activities that people are up to. Rich people do rowing,
Knew that.
group
It's
rowing.
called crew.
They had some of that in the movie.
Yeah, that's what okay, yep. Thank you, Caitlin.
I actually never mind.
Fencing. Only rich people do fencing. Also, offloading the burden of raising their children onto poorer people. That's what.
There you go. That speaks to all three of us, honestly.
I literally have been told that I'm allowed to discipline my boys. Like I'm allowed to shout. No one will say anything because they want me to be the discipline.
How about some corporal
Give her.
punishment?
I will not be doing that because I would lose my license. Thank you. I have no desire to do that.
There was some of that in this movie.
That
was
was
shocking.
tough. Okay, what else do rich people do?
That was mostly it. They wear thick sweaters.
Yeah,
frequently.
sometimes they tie them over. They wear Princeton
It's called
sweaters.
ascot.
Ascots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is this might as well be on Mars.
Yeah,
to me.
For me, I keep comparing this movie to Good Will Hunting in my head because it's also Good Will Hunting as Robin Williams being a teacher.
Yeah.
Like to a white boy.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
this
but
white
these
boy was
are-
from the streets.
They're from the streets. They're hoodlums from Southie Boston. They get into fights.
But
and
he's
they only-
wicked smart.
They only go to Harvard bars to pick up chicks and fight other dudes, you know.
And then they go to their contracting
compared
job.
to this, which is like boys that want to do good in school,
Yeah.
and are like motivated,
Yeah.
and are like also have like overbearing parents that are paying lots of money to, you know, set you down on a specific path.
I think that was the part that was most shocking, was that these kids really wanted to learn.
Yeah,
And I've never seen that before. And I was like, wow.
some of Robin Williams' shtick in this movie would have landed differently back at our school down at Hope Academy. It would have been like, what the fuck is he on right now? Like, are you kidding me?
Listen to the dead poets.
And somebody would have like ripped a fart in the middle of that whole thing and just like killed the mood. That's what would have happened down
And it
there.
would have been Kayla.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
No, it would have been Vonko.
Would you have called him Captain?
No.
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 I'll call you Mr. whatever your name is.
That's too close to calling somebody master. And I'm good. Low key, I'm good.
So like, it's funny. You go along with it as the movie goes on, but like I said, this movie had to overcome, or like you said, this movie had to overcome me just being unable to really
To grasp like
identify
this concept. Yeah.
with these kids that I think are supposed to be, they're relatable to someone, but to me, you know, it had to overcome my bigotry towards theater kids and my bigotry towards rich people.
You were a theater kid.
That's how I know I hate them.
But Michael is so anti-theater kid, though. I knew Michael back in the day when he was in theater, and he has a soul. I'll say that. and most theater kids that I've met are
They're either evil or they have too much soul. They think their soul is the only soul that needs to shine.
So-
You don't
You
need to look directly at me as you speak.
I have
this.
been doing this.
That was aggressive. That was aggressive.
You're a theater kid?
Yes.
Okay, I don't mean you then. I don't mean you too. I mean the kids that I've met. Okay, so there was a time in my life where I was also pursuing theater, and I was around a bunch of kids. Like, I went to this mock Oscars award ceremony downtown Minneapolis, and it was connected to one of the art schools down there. And these kids were on a different fucking planet. And I mean, like, I've never been around such narcissism in my life.
Right.
And I even knew this at the age of 16, that something was off about this. And it just like it was just me. And look at, oh my God, look how quirky I am. And I was just like, nah, this is not it, you know?
I hear what you're saying. And that is why I'm mad at you for turning to me, looking, no, let me finish, looking at me dead in the eyes and say, some people have too much soul and they think their soul is the only one that matters on the earth. Let me suffer. My suffering is beautiful.
That was not
It was an attack.
It was not a comment towards you. Maybe your inner self is, you're feeling a little guilty.
You
for some
looked at
reason.
me in the eye.
I have been doing this little rotation because I'm sitting in the middle where I'll look at one of you guys.
Here's an excuse
and then I'll
I
look at the other
have.
one the whole time. Because what if I just stared into Kaylin's eyes, you'd feel left out. So I got to look at you sometime.
You don't.
I think it was bad. It was bad timing. Let's just say that.
I took that as that's war.
I mean, you are wearing a Princeton.
Yeah, because I visited the campus one time.
Had
One time.
to cop the merch real quick.
Was it beautiful? Yeah. Did I cry? I did.
That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. He's like, I love to buy the sweaters at colleges I perform at. And they'll be like, sick, Ohio State, when'd you go? And he's like, it was a Tuesday.
I want to comment on how American that is to go to Princeton and just drop some tears in Princeton. Like,
I know. I struggle because I try to be, not a crazy white bitch because I love academia, and I also know that academia is incredibly racist. And
for sure. Have you seen Dead Poet Society?
Have you noticed all these fucking
it's
crackers?
100% white.
I counted how many color people there were, and there was two.
There's zero.
No, there was two.
There's a guy that worked in the kitchen.
Yep, the guy that worked in the kitchen, and then there was what's his name was like trying to find the girl from the other high school.
In the high school.
There was one black kid in the band at the high school.
Oh yeah, he was like hovering behind the shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried their best to cover his face, but it didn't work out.
There was
so
a
well.
trumpet in it's Louis Armstrong. Wait, is that bad to say?
No. No. It was every black guy that plays the trumpet is Louis Armstrong. We know that.
That's what I'm saying. That was a joke.
No, I know. I'm fucking with you. I'm doubling it back on you, and it's making you stress.
That's racist.
Why do I stand up here? Anybody?
To feel taller.
No. Thank you for playing, Mr. Dalton. I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. See, the world looks very different from up here. You don't believe me? Come see for yourselves. Come on. Come on. Just when you think you know something, you have to look at it in another way. Even though it may seem silly or wrong, you must try. Now, when you read, don't just consider what the author thinks. Consider what you think. Boys, you must strive to find your own voice. Because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all. Thoreau said most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Don't be resigned to that. Break out. Now don't just walk off the edge like lemmings. Look around you. There you go, Mr. Christie. Thank you. Yes. Dare to strike out and find new ground.
Okay, so a lot of my notes aren't very important, so I'm just going to rattle some off. Have you noticed that there's lots of crouching in this movie? Lots of crouching and intense speaking.
That's dark academia.
Yeah, they got to be sneaky to go to their Dead Poet Society meetings.
I'm thinking particularly when Robin Williams is in the classroom and I forget what he's saying to them, but he's making some speech.
Making them huddle.
And then he crouches up and everybody huddles around him.
Yeah.
Lots of crouching and loud talking. Lots of indoor smoking, which did people's noses not work? Because there's so many cigarettes that get put out the moment before somebody enters a room.
And then nobody comments on it.
Nobody acknowledges it. Or did everything smell like smoke in 1959?
I think everything probably smelled like smoke.
That's my guess as well.
Okay.
And then teachers were smoking pipes in the class.
Correct.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's just a different time, man. Actually, I vaguely remember smoking being allowed in restaurants. Vaguely remember this.
Very early.
I do too.
Yeah.
Especially Wisconsin supper clubs.
Yeah.
And they even had smoking and non-smoking sections.
Yep.
Yeah.
This window in the middle of this room is going to stop you from getting cancer. You know? No, that's the smoking section over there.
You're good. Eat your shrimp and shut up.
And just what a bunch of fucking nerds is this kid? Really, they just head first into poetry. My guy is just cannot take a hint that this girl is not interested in him, and let the hate flow through you. I feel like this.
He got a little rapey.
This is a subplot we could have cut.
He did, and there was. Oh, I didn't write it down. But when he comes back from the high school, they're like, how did it go? And he said, it didn't matter, but I did it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was supposed, I was like, I like that. That should have been. But then that should have been the end of it because then she comes back and I'm like, no, don't make it a love story. Make it it doesn't matter. Yes, he was problematic. As the woman on the podcast,
it should have been more of, I don't care that your boyfriend is a dickhead. I'm gonna keep trying to woo you. You know what I'm saying? It should have been more of that. It's carpe diem. The whole seize the day. It's right. More so it's not. I'm gonna fucking kiss you while you're drunk asleep. That's weird.
That was he kissed her on the head.
Okay,
so
but still, I mean that's that's weird. Not consensual.
Correct.
But also a different time. Let's say that.
But I feel like that was the seize the day motto because Todd Anderson doesn't like public speaking. That's kind of this undertone that and that's why Neil's such a good dichotomy to him as a roommate. Also, they were in love, I'm convinced. Don't tell me.
Yeah, and I kind of picked that up too. There was definitely some of that energy.
Oh, Neil and Todd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also saw it as
roomies.
They were more than roommates. They were more than friends. They were they had a bond. And so it didn't have to be that, but it's like we're looking through things now with a different lens, and we can kind of see like, you know.
At my school, that's called brotherhood.
Yeah, it could also be some gay stuff though, and that's okay.
So that one character, no, not Neil.
Todd.
That's young Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, who we go on to have several decades of a relationship with. Name the most recent Ethan Hawke movie you've watched, because he's prolific.
Training Day. I watched
The Black
recently.
Phone.
Oh, yeah. We watched that together.
Did we?
We did. We had this exact conversation in another podcast. I'm gonna
Probably.
find it.
Have you seen Training Day?
I've never even heard of it.
Because that's what this character went off to do.
Yeah.
After this movie,
Joined
he
the-
became a cop in South Central LA, and he had a really bad day with Denzel Washington. You should watch Training Day if you haven't seen Training Day.
Is it actually good?
Yeah, it's a good
Oh.
movie. It's a classic.
He's in a lot of good movies. He's been in a lot of bad movies, but Ethan Hawke, respect him, like him. And this is very early days, and I think he's really good in this part, because this part could be very cliche and corny, but I think there's some subtlety to the way he deals with, he's like a very reserved, anxious
There's a
kid.
lot of subtlety because he doesn't really do anything.
I mean, it has to be subtle, because otherwise it wouldn't be a reserved, anxious person, but I think it's well acted, especially the end scene.
Yeah, yeah. I think the best actor
my
in the
God, I
movie is
saw
the Neil kid.
Yeah, me too.
That's great.
That kid is fantastic.
Who was he?
His name is Robert Sean Leonard. There's only one other thing I know him from. Did you ever watch House? The show House?
Oh,
Like
the,
House MD?
medical.
The doctor show?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
He was House's best friend / roommate, I think.
And they were roommates. I see a trend
You see
here,
a
Robert.
trend.
I don't. There's probably other things he's been in, but he did not like go on to be like a superstar after this.
Yeah, none of these kids really.
Just crazy because like
They're
that
all
was good
fantastic.
performance.
A lot of them
Really
ended up
good.
on network TV shows later in life. The guy that plays, I think it's Knox. Yeah, Knox. He goes on. He's a main character in The Good Wife, which is a series that ran for a long time. There's a lot of like recognizable actors, but like this, I guess the casting for this was crazy. Every up and coming actor from age like 15 to 21 was trying to get a role in this. Like River Phoenix narrowly missed on being the Neil part. So did I think Sam Rockwell, young Sam Rockwell, auditioned to be one of the kids. It was a real who's who.
Do you know who Ethan Hawke's daughter is?
No,
The girl from Stranger Things.
11.
No, she also plays a gay character, I believe.
She works at the ice cream restaurant.
I
Yeah.
don't watch Stranger Things.
Oh shit.
I know.
Maya Hawke has been in other things. Did you ever watch Asteroid City?
Oh yeah, she's in that. Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, she's a young actress.
Can we talk about Stephen Meeks?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow.
It's literally the same glasses. I told you
Yeah,
it's my
literally.
style.
Literally with the red hair. Yeah.
I know. I'm
crazy.
like, I'm like, wow, he's kind of cute, and then I'm like, I am a narcissist. That is, he looks like me. We're the same. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a great ensemble, and I guess we're deep into it, but we should maybe just tell a little synopsis of what happens before we get into the rest. 35 minutes into the
you could probably
podcast.
just edit it to bring it to the front. No,
I could.
Yeah.
So
welcome everyone. Let's talk about what the movie's about.
Dead Poet Society.
So there's a New England boarding school, all boys boarding school. Robin Williams is this literature teacher named Keating, Mr. Keating, and he takes on his new class, which includes our ensemble class of boys, including Ethan Hawke's character Todd, and who is really our main character, Neil. As they, it's a coming of age movie, so they all kind of come of age, using different avenues. Some pursue love, some pursue acting. Todd, the Ethan Hawke's character, just getting coaxed out of his very like anxious and reserved shell. And then they form this group called the Dead Poets Society, which is like a secret group that, it's really just a boys club where they hang out and they tell each other poetry or just smoke cigs and play saxophone, I guess.
Yeah. Just talk shit. Look at Playboy.
Yeah. And then full spoilers. I think we all recommend Dead Poets Society. It is a good movie. There's sort of a dark turn where the Neil character is, he has a very overbearing father played by Kurtwood Smith, who is forever typecast as hard-ass fathers because we know him best as Red
Foreman
from that 70s show.
Yeah.
I'll put my foot in your ass, you dumbass.
His father does not want him to pursue acting career. He's very overbearing. He's very strict. He is, as soon as he finds out his son is in a play, he like rips him out after the first night and tells him he's taking him out of school and he's going to go to military academy instead because you're going to grow up and become a doctor. This acting shit, it's not good. You know, it's a wash. We're not a rich family. We can't afford to send you to private school to be a starving artist, is essentially his whole spiel. Neil, who's through the movie, we see this is not the first time he's had this, you know, kind of run in with his dad about any extracurricular activities, and he's clearly just like at the end of his rope, finds a gun and shoots himself in his father's office. And then the end of the movie is Robin Williams' character, the teacher back at the school, who's sort of been encouraging these boys over time to sort of seek new opportunities, question authority, kind of expand your horizons, think outside the box. Gets this boy's death gets kind of pinned on him. He gets fired, and we end on a very powerful scene where earlier in the movie Robin Williams had stood on his desk to encourage his boys to seek a new perspective in life. Yeah, and then all the boys, when
not all the boys.
Well, not all the boys. It's true. We have a snitch in our
Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron, you finked, didn't you?
We can pause, but this dog is fucking huge.
Yeah. Have you seen him?
Do you see the dog?
Let me see.
It's fucking Beethoven out here.
Yeah, he's a
Sorry,
Saint Bernard.
I didn't mean to fucking do that. I thought that was I thought it was a cow at first because it was in the corner. I was like, why do they have barnyard animals in there?
Yeah, he's so fucking big.
That's a bear.
Yeah, 5 hours later.
Well, all right,
all right. Sorry, we didn't mean to cut off so abruptly, but
I was doing a synopsis, and then you saw Saint Bernard, and you said we had to look at him.
Well, I was thinking, this is a movie about, or a podcast about movies. Yeah, Carpe Diem, and then also I was like, this is a podcast about movies, and there's a movie called Beethoven with the same type of dog, and I was like,
I'm aware.
This is still kind of on topic, you know.
There's a lot of Beethoven movies. There's like Beethoven the Sixth. They crank those motherfuckers out. How many dogs do you think played Beethoven?
Oh, I'm sure it's been like 12.
There was that's probably a low guess. It's probably 12 for like 2 movies.
I'm sure they do a different dog in different scenes.
Yeah,
and stuff.
There's like dog specialists. The dog around all the people scenes, and then there's the stunt dog, and then there's like.
How do you spell Beethoven?
BETH.
Yeah, not so easy.
Yeah.
BEETH oven.
Oh yeah, BEE. Beethoven.
So, anyways, the guy's fired.
It was primarily played by one dog named Chris, but he had 12 doubles.
Chris is just like behind the scenes smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, do my bitch work. Sorry, anyways, back to Dead Poet Society.
Anyways, the end. Should we move on to It's an Art, Bro?
Let's do it.
So we talk about aspects of the filmmaking process, sets, effects, lighting.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
So, director Peter Weir of Dead Poets Society. What's going on over here?
I'm trying to shut this window.
Isn't it shut?
No. I hear birds and stuff.
You open it a little extra and then just slam it. How'd that work?
Your birds is crazy.
They were chirping. I didn't want them to show up on the mic.
You know, one time I was editing a podcast and all of a sudden I started hearing birds and I'm like, how the fuck? And they're really loud. And I'm like, how the fuck is there birds this loud into your microphone? Like, is there some weird electronic like signal crossing happening where I'm like picking up something else?
It could be interdimensional because I when I was on shrooms once, I saw a bird. And it was like it had a halo around it.
Okay, yes, I remember this. But you know what I found out was the real answer? Apparently just a YouTube video somehow spontaneously opened of birds.
So you must have still been working at
that was playing
287, or sorry.
No, if anything, the bird thing would be for the cat, but I haven't put that on for the cat.
Oh, true.
Anyways.
Dead Poet Society.
So speaking of halos, though, and it's an art bro, can we talk about how Neil's headpiece for the play looks like Jesus's crown of thorns?
Yeah, I noticed that. Actually, fun fact, I played Puck in a play once.
In a play?
Yes, in Midsummer's Eve.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I played that part. So I really connected to that character in that moment. I was like, yeah.
Weren't you in Midsummer's Night's Dream? No, you were the beaver in Narnia or something crazy.
That happened, yeah.
You're the beaver? You look more like Mr. Tumnus.
I was Mr. Beaver.
Right?
He does look like Mr. Tumnus.
And I did Mr. Beaver entirely as Sean Connery.
Could you imagine Michael with goat legs?
He literally
playing his little flute,
almost the same.
Playing his little flute, enticing little children into his house.
I can't imagine it because it's not that far off. Like,
Kayla, here's the thing. If I compare you to a mythical creature, it's racist.
He's like a minotaur.
Okay.
He's like a minotaur to me.
So I'm just not going to do it.
A minotaur?
You do.
A fucking bull man? Or do you mean
yeah.
Okay.
You get, like, stature-wise?
Okay.
What am I? And don't say unicorn, because people say that.
I would say a unicorn.
I was going to say a Pegasus.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, because you made me answer this question.
Fuck off.
I don't have a good answer.
I say unicorn because you're a nice person, but you would stab somebody with your horn if you had to.
I love that, actually. That's an acceptable
And while you're stabbing somebody, a rainbow would shoot out your butt.
Out my butt.
I picked Pegasus because I knew you'd hate unicorn, but it was the closest to unicorn I could get.
Well, usually when people say unicorn, it was like a joke about my sexuality. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, original.
Pegasus or Pegasi?
You individually would be a Pegasus.
Well, I know, but what's the plural of Pegasus?
Pegasus.
No, it's a Pegasi because it's octopi.
Pegasi? Oh.
What is the
out
plural?
The Googles.
What is the plural of Pegasus? This is something we need to get nailed down before we move on.
This is way more important than Dead Poets Society.
Before we talk about this movie about all these rich crackers, let's fucking nail down.
It literally could be either Pegasuses or Pegasi.
Because it's a
so
mythological
we both were right.
It's
Good job, buddy.
It's a fake word.
Yeah, pretty much. Pegasusy.
Ew.
So.
Yuck. Bring him back.
Going back to the podcast, guys. We don't have to. What other? Okay, let's get all the plural words for all the mythical creatures ever. So actually, what's another one that'll be tough? Like a
centaur.
Centaurs.
Would just be
yeah.
Okay.
It would just be centaurs.
If you turned into a centaur suddenly, would you be centaured?
You would centaured.
I'm asking.
Or would you be centauri?
Like, what is the process of becoming a centaur? Like, if you
I think you would say turned would be the action word.
I don't think people turn into centaurs. It's not like a werewolf. You're just born that way, right?
You think you were born a centaur?
Yeah,
I think so too.
I mean, in Narnia, yes, certainly.
Yeah, but I've never heard a story of somebody turning
into
a horseman.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like.
But then, how is it half man, half horse, or half man, half bull?
Huh?
Minotaur's not half man, half bull.
Yes, it is. Minotaurs, yes. Have you read the story of what's his name who went into the maze, Greek mythology?
Yes.
And he killed the centaur?
Yes.
The labyrinth, yeah.
Oh God,
I forget his
Perseus.
Is it Perseus?
Yes, because I'm a Greek mythology slut.
She knows
Watch
a lot
me
about
be-
things.
I know. I thank you.
Dark academic.
Dark academic.
It's me. I have the same glasses as Stephen Meeks. I know. Also, I do have to say, because we're filming this on Super Bowl Sunday, and I picked Dead Poet Society, a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And then Taylor Swift dropped that she said a new album's coming out called Tortured Poets Society or Tortured Poets Club, something like that. So this is not an Easter egg for the Swifties out there. This is just purely coincidence.
Taylor Swift
happened.
ghost wrote this podcast.
I don't believe that Taylor Swift is a tortured artist.
No. It's making fun of her ex
Oh.
because he had a group chat with his other tortured artists.
See, I don't know the lore of Taylor Swift. I kind of just speak on what I see.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of seems like a cult leader.
Yeah.
She kind of seems like a shill.
She seems like a person who's put the veil over a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
My point is
She's
that
a secret asshole. Is that true?
I think the whole song of Anti-Hero is literally about like her being narcissistic.
Oh, so she's upfront about her shittiness.
I don't think she's like a diagnosed like narcissist, but it's more so like, to be that big of a star, wouldn't all of us turn into that?
I would hope not to, but I kind of feel like that's the route I would probably go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think everybody hopes to not be like that. You know what I mean?
I think the fame and fortune turns you
Definitely
that way
like
anyways.
changes people. I've known people who come into like a small amount of money and it changes them. You know what I mean? I could just imagine what millions upon millions can do, and just the clout of being somebody of that stature. You know?
And nothing you ever do is ever private ever again.
No. So it probably definitely changes you. Yeah. Anyways, Dead Poet Society.
Are we ever going to talk about this
it's
movie?
an art.
We don't have to be clear.
No, I
we
mean,
can just talk about Taylor Swift or whatever, but
no, we always do this every time Kayla comes on.
No.
It's not your fault. I think
it really
we just make good conversation.
it's not a problem. I just didn't know whether I should unload my Taylor Swift thoughts or if I should just, try to
I
keep
think
it
unload
in
them, man.
No.
This is a safe space.
It's not.
It's never a safe space when it comes to the Swifties, which is part of the problem.
Do you think if we
Look, all I'm saying is if Taylor Swift, said the election results were fake, the Swifties would storm the Capitol.
I could definitely see that being a possibility.
Just with those who hold great power, hold great responsibility.
We need to take back our nation. And then all these Swifties, all these like blonde hair.
Why did she sound like MLK? No, she sounded like John F. Kennedy. We will go to the moon.
I have a dream.
Among other things.
That the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. And my album will go #1. I have seen the promised land.
All I'm saying is I think we could have a big like James Corden, Ellen DeGeneres reveal about Taylor Swift someday. But she's just got such a
You know who I think that's coming
sniper
for?
hold. Like literally, it's like snipers. It's like you say something bad about Taylor Swift,
You know who I think that's coming
broad
for?
day in public. Like,
Dang, crazy. Who's it coming for, Caleb?
I don't want to wish ill on anybody. But I think that the big, you know how Diddy had the big reveal that he's like a fucking weirdo?
yeah.
Diddy, P. Diddy.
Well,
P. Diddy.
yes.
Diddy's it's not just that he's very gay. It is that he's very sexually aggressive.
And he's just
And
like crazy.
it's like kind of Weinstein-y.
But I think in 5 to 10 years, and maybe knock on wood for this, I don't know how much you care about this person, but Drake, I think that some shit's gonna come out.
Shit's already come out.
Big Drake reveal.
Shit has
The
women
Millie-
hate Drake. Do
Millie
you not
Bob-
know this?
Yeah. Well, the Millie Bobby Vanilli thing kind of
Also-
like was like eye opening for me.
Also,
That's weird.
I feel like women are primarily keeping his music career afloat.
But then there was a video of his penis that just came out, so maybe he's okay. I don't know.
That's true.
Okay.
I've heard of this. I've not seeked it out. To be clear.
That sounds like something.
I think
somebody-
Neil
wanna
would.
see
I think Neil would
Let's say.
have.
The
Neil
Drizzy
would have.
Pizzy.
Oh, I know Neil would have.
Neil is bi-curious for sure.
Neil would have been like, wow, that's...
He's going into theater. I mean, come on.
He played Puck in a play. But what does that say about me?
And you have a nose ring.
Oh, my God.
You're having a revelation over there.
So, it's an art bro. Director Peter Weir decided to shoot this entire movie chronologically so he could capture the boys getting closer over time, which I think is an interesting technique. It's definitely a more expensive one, which would not have flown, I think, in the like corner cutting industry that currently exists. And that goes hand in hand with this movie made like $250 million and was like the 5th highest grossing movie of 1989, which Damn. Like you think of the movies that are going to top the charts, you know, in the recent past and in the future, it is nothing approaching what a Dead Poet Society is. Like there's not going to be a movie where a teenager puts a hole in his brain at like 20 minutes before the ending and it's the 5th highest grossing movie. You know, like that's going to be some small art project that
some A24 film
that's going to be on Sunrise Film Festival.
Yeah, and that, you know, maybe gets 30 million at the box office and has a good VOD release or whatever, but it is not going to be this like widespread mass appeal thing. Like the closest thing to that might be Oppenheimer as far as like just a super serious film being a massive hit. Although that is also a massive movie with massive names already attached to it.
Oppenheimer is really surprising.
Yeah.
But I think because it had a great director attached to it.
And I don't think you can blame that entirely on it, like the industry. I think it's the people, too. The people have voted with their wallets and have decided that I want to watch.
I want to watch The Conjuring 5.
Yeah, and I don't want to watch... Oh, you picked the wrong franchise
I'm sorry.
to come after. You should have just avoided the horror genre over here.
I mean, I want to watch Despicable Me 7.
I want to watch Trolls 4. You know, that's what they've decided instead of watching Dead Poet Society. I want to watch Cape Shit Adventure 167. I want to watch
The Marvels starring Mrs. Marvel.
But we can't make those jokes anymore because people didn't watch those movies.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Kayla is like staring daggers at me right now.
Have you watched the entire Conjuring franchise?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so then you have nothing to say.
Because the Conjuring franchise extends to like Annabelle.
Yeah, and Annabelle's poo.
Exactly.
So what was wrong about what I said?
Conjuring, because the Conjuring itself, the headliner, is brilliant. I'm back.
We reviewed it and we called it kind of mid.
You guys did review it and you did not bring me on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Weren't we supposed to do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Conjuring sucked.
I was like, this was the movie that everyone went crazy about?
I remember watching it when I was younger and I was like, wow, this is a pretty good horror film. And then I watched better horror films as I got older. And I was like, yeah.
Before its time.
Before its time?
But for its time.
I think there was better horror movies back then too.
That period of...
I think Insidious is better than The Conjuring.
Oh, Insidious is trash.
The original Insidious is better than The Conjuring.
Are you confusing Insidious with Sinister?
No.
Yes, because Sinister is great. No. I think Sinister might be the best.
Insidious is with the Darth Maul looking...
You're right.
Oh, yeah, Ethan Hawke.
See, look at... We did.
We're coming back around.
Came back around.
It's
town. This is a mess. I'm so sorry.
I do really like... Okay, so Neil dies, right? And
he dies?
Michael really liked that part.
Neil suicides himself.
Unalives
himself. And Red Foreman says, my son. That's iffy acting there. But what I wanted to get to is...
He's like, no! My son.
No,
it was sad though that the mom was like, "He's fine, he's fine."
Yeah, that was fucked up.
She was some of that's fine, but the literal no is timed. It's not an acting problem. It's that editing choice is a comic beat. In 2022.
It almost looked like he looked at the camera while he was saying, he was like, no.
But after Neil dies, and the boys all hear about it, Todd, they're like all out in the snow. And Todd starts falling apart, and it's beautiful scenery. And I think previous outdoor scenes the sound is different. it has that very specific, like, empty, lonely wind in the background mixed there, which is might be one of those things that a lot of people you didn't notice, but your brain did. But it's like, it's not only is it cold, it's empty. Like, we're missing Neil. And it's really sad, I think, in this movie, because I didn't expect the unaliving that happens near the end. I was expecting a more typical movie where the father sees the son in the play, and he,
I thought the kid was just going to move away.
Yeah.
Or just go to a different school,
Like, the more typical version of this movie, the son sees the dad sees the son in the play, and the dad goes, "Oh, I get it.
Art is meaningful."
Yeah. This is what you came alive up there. I love seeing you feel so great. It makes me feel great to see you great. All I want is what's best for you. No, he takes his ass home and he says, "This art shit is bullshit. I'm sending you to military academy. Live with that."
It was like, that's 10 more years of like trying to get into medical school.
Yeah, you're gonna go to, not only you're gonna do military academy, you're gonna become a doctor.
Yeah,
at Harvard.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Very specific. That's why I'm not wearing a Harvard sweater, boys.
Fuck Harvard.
I'm kind of forgetting what point I was driving towards now, but
the sound effect was cool.
The sound effect was cool, and it's just like, I did not expect the movie to turn that hard into tragedy. For sure. Based on what we've seen before. It's not like a hilarious movie, but it is like heartwarming and lighthearted, and for the most part has a positive tone up until then, with little hints of like the kids might be venturing down the wrong path a little bit, but often in that, like, just like most things that happen when you're a teenager, they are things that you will just move on. They're bumps in the path right now, but they are not going to be some like life-changing event that's actually going to change your whole life.
I mean, like, it kind of made me miss being that age. I mean, you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and you're naive to the world. You don't see it for what it truly is, and there's something special about that.
I think that's such a tragedy of Neil, though. Is like, he's like the most hopeful, and then
Neil's like the best of them, which is why it falls apart when he's the one that dies.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, he was the guy that restarted the Dead Poet Society. Teacher Mr. Keating had an original Dead Poet Society back when he was in school.
He was trying to lift, what's his name, Spirits,
Todd
Ethan Hawke's character, the entire time, trying to get him to come out of his shell a little bit. Yeah, it was tragic.
What did you think about the end scene?
I thought it was pretty powerful. A little hokey, but it was pretty, like, it was empowering for, I mean, just the relationship that the teacher had with them. I think it was warranted. And
it's on the good side of cheesy.
Yeah.
Where, like, I love Ethan Hawke's little moment where he's like contemplating what to do because the teacher comes back, the superintendent or whatever is like taking over teaching the class, and he's just, we're doing it by the book, boys. Read this passage,
I loved, though, because wasn't it Cameron that was supposed to read that page that they all ripped out?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I can't, like, it's ripped out. He's like, well, borrow someone else's. He's like, they're all ripped out. And he's like, what do you mean? And I thought that was really meaningful that Cameron had to do it.
Yeah, because he was the snitch. He was the rat. And
meanwhile, Keating is in the office, the door's cracked, and he's able to make eye contact with Todd, who's like, oh, this is my turning point here,
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's literally the last, like, 2 minutes of the film. Todd doing that is, like, the summary of him coming out of his shell and him X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's the story of a teacher that teaches people to, think outside the box. Systems are rigorous, but you don't have to be, and
but also to show restraint as well, and not to be a complete dickhead.
Yeah, he does admonish. There's a moment in the middle of the movie where a kid, makes a big, tries to do something to stand up. He wants girls in the school, and he pulls a stunt, and he's like, not really cool. Like, be smart too. But at the end, what really all we have as our, like, ending scene is a little moment of civil disobedience of all these kids just standing on the desk, and the hard-ass teacher just being like, boys, I order you to get down, and none of them caring as they just, do like a final salute to their teacher that's walking out the door. weird connection. It reminded me of the end of Glass Onion. It's kind of like the kinder version of her smashing all those glasses in the rich guy's house.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I can't change the system, but fuck this. You know? Like, the system will move on, but I don't like this.
But you know what happened to all those kids after this movie? They all got spanked.
For sure.
And that guy's hands, they were really tired after that. So that was a lot of spanking.
He had to hand out like 10 spankings. 10 spanking sessions, I should say.
Per kid,
That's like 200 spanks, probably.
He has to get a new mallet now because his mallet is all like...
Mallet is crazy.
That mallet
is not the...
It was like a fucking cricket
It was
bat.
a fucking charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board? No.
Should we get...
never eat charcuterie again.
Should we get close to home? If you got spanked at home, what instrument was your parents' go-to?
Wooden spoon.
A leather belt or a wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon.
Or hand.
Hand would do if the wooden spoon wouldn't.
I
think my mom was more of a wooden spoon, and then my dad was a more hand. I think maybe belt once or twice.
My dad was...
I don't think
my dad was the belt. My mom was the spoon.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
We can unpack that.
No, it was a different time.
We're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
You know, that's the problem with kids these days. They don't get their ass whooped anymore.
We need to bring back paddling in schools.
My mom tried to spank me when I was in like middle school. And I remember she was, because, you know, I recently heard that when there's an absence of choice, there's a presence of trauma. So like the one nice thing my mom did was she said I could pick what butt cheek I got to banged on.
At least you had self-control over this situation.
Right? But I remember being like a middle schooler and like laying over her lap. And that was the last time she ever spanked Faith or I. She didn't even go through with it because I looked at her in the eyes and I'm like, really? Like, we're really going to do this? And
I personally wouldn't hit my kids. But I think like a little flick on the ear, like, you need to stop doing that.
Especially if they're like, I'd say under the age of 4, just because it's like, I can't get your attention. You're all wound up.
Little pat on the back of the head. Yeah.
You know?
You gotta wake them up a little bit. You know, like, come on, stop being a dick. You know?
Well, and like, I always go back to the finger in the electrical outlet. You know, like, I probably would
That's what I would
smack
do to my
someone's
children.
hand away.
Oh, for
but
sure.
it would be reflexive. It wouldn't be, like, punitive. It's just, like, don't fucking shock yourself in this moment.
There's also such thing as natural consequences, too.
Yeah, but if the natural consequence results
getting
in
electrocuted.
death, I don't know if I would let that happen. Like, yeah, you're right. There's natural consequences to letting your child run out into a busy street. Doesn't mean you would let it happen.
There's a lot of kids running around the halls of my school currently. It's less so than the beginning of the year, but during the on a bad day, every once in a while, I just want to just like stick a toe out and just be like, watch them eat it. And just be like,
your toe out,
and just be like, that's what happens when you're running around everywhere. You trip on people. Yeah. Guess what?
You just see Michael's big toe like ding.
So we have this kid. Never mind.
We should probably this, but it's all good.
Well, that was a very wide story. Many kids are.
Yeah, I had a specific story, and I was like, yeah, nope, I'm bringing that back in.
Does anybody else have anything for It's an Art?
No, we should move to...
Oh, I did like the scene, though, of them going to the cave the first time, and it was all spooky. You said it reminded you of Harry Potter. I thought that was pretty.
I thought Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies, or... I mean, like... It was very Harry Potter with the clothes and like the Expecto Patronum.
Yeah, their little hoods. I was like, this looks a little rough. Are they about to go burn a cross out there?
I was like, good thing these hoods aren't white, right?
Right.
Oh, no.
Also thought they kind of looked like Jawas.
They
like what?
Jawas from Star Wars.
Oh my god.
They're gonna be like,
trying to sell me some fucking droid parts over here.
Can we move along to, hey, what are you trying to say?
Oh, well, that would be great. You know, I'm just wondering about the color. It seems kind of dark. I wonder if I could have a lighter color, maybe a light blue or something.
So what are you saying? You saying I don't know colors? I don't know anything about suits? What, I just came off the street, I was some unemployed guy begging for money on the corner, and they threw me in here to try to fit people? You don't think I know anything about suits? Oh, no, let's go that color? Is that what you're saying?
You think the dark then?
Yeah, I think the dark.
Okay.
Well,
go with the dark.
This is where we talk about the themes and ideas.
Queer.
That and the importance of being an individual.
Okay, this one falls in the line of like a lot of 80s action movies where it's accidentally gay, I think.
Yeah,
No, I think it's purposefully gay.
I think it is purposeful in the fact that it was like we're not trying to be. They wouldn't allow this back then. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we're gonna try
Yep.
to like subtly kind of drop these little things in here.
Like, there's this guy who's coming of age with all these other boys, and they all have a deep relationship, and he's learning that he doesn't have to meet certain expectations, and when he tries to do what makes him happy, he's punished to the point where he kills himself. That is pretty queer.
It could have been hit like in a movie today. It would have been the story about the kid coming out to his parents, and then being reprimanded for that.
And like, think of 1989. Like, I'm doing theater instead of becoming a doctor. That's basically saying I like boys.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, though,
You know?
yeah,
That's true. That's true. I guess I didn't look into that. Like, it's
Yeah.
right. It's all right there. I think more like accidentally gay is I'm thinking of like the spanking scene, like accidentally gay.
Well, that also shows like I mean, that speaks to the patriarchy too, where it's like this like
Yes.
the traditional. I know white people are just weird. I'm sorry.
Don't have to apologize to me.
Especially older white men, they're just very angry, and they take out their anger and their frustrations on these children, even though it doesn't seem like they are. But it's just part of this like patriarchal system that is it's oppressive.
It
even
is
even the
within
people,
itself.
yeah, within itself, and even I mean, obviously minorities, but like it's oppressive to even the individuals that are part of it. It's just a very rigid society.
Well, and it's a lot of I went through this and I became this, so you have to become it too.
Yeah,
like it's very
because it's tradition,
right?
You know,
I think
I want to touch your butt.
The home dynamic is a really great example because the mom also, who we don't see a lot of the mom in the Neil and dad interactions, and they come home and we meet mom for the first time, and it's pretty clear that the mom is also like under the same like she seems like she's oppressed. She also is not able to say exactly how she feels because I think from her like subtle like facial stuff and just like the way she looks at her son, she's like clearly feeling more empathy towards him in this moment, and like
as a mother should.
But she doesn't really say it or ever like make it known because that would be undermining the father, and the father runs the home, and
it's your typical nuclear family dynamic, you know.
And kind of going back to like little scenes that take back the power, like she was crying in bed after she and George Foreman, that's Red Foreman. You know, they both get in bed and she like turns to the side and is like crying, and he's like, he'll be okay or something. Before they fall asleep, which is before Neil kills himself. But it was kind of interesting because it's that same idea of like civil disobedience, of like me turning to the side and not like it's just the act of like I don't
not
align with you,
situation.
right? And like it's not going to change anything, but it's still like her way of controlling what's going on.
I want to read a quick review that I found on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, is it the Crying in the Club one?
No, this one it's got a splat. It's a certified splat. It says Dead Poet Society purports to be the bravery of following one's own path. This is a bright, shining lie, one the film is ballsy enough to tell to your face. And I was like, this review is definitely written by like the headmaster of this school. I don't know why somebody would like come to that conclusion. It's like that's the problem, right? Is that you're not being a free thinker. Like the whole point of this movie is to be, it's carpe diem, seize the day, make your own path. You know what I mean? And I just think that message is powerful.
that guy was watching this movie and the paddling scene. It's just like in Friday when the mailman comes home and watch the mailman on TV. You know, he's like, "Get that! Oh, paddle that boy!"
Yes, Dead Poet Society is just like Friday.
It's just like Friday. It's about fatherhood.
Just less weed.
No, Kayla was referencing that my favorite maybe Letterboxd review of all time, and this is one for Dead Poet Society. It says, I never thought I would be crying in the club over a bunch of rich lookalike gay white boys, but here we are.
Dang, they're thinking about this in the club. That's crazy.
I think this is a movie about how systems are failing and how the beginning of this movie is like the tradition of Wellmouth or whatever it was called. And like the tradition fucking sucks and it's oppressive and it's literally kills Neil. So like and also ends well, I don't know if it ends his career, but he's certainly not getting a good reference for Mr. Keating lost his job out too, and he's not going to get a good reference from this situation. So like
it just destroys lives.
And it crushes the people that are like trying to break out of it.
Yeah.
But also I think it's kind of powerful because a lot of the reviews that I was reading to are like, my so-and-so, or I know someone who became a teacher because of this movie, or this reminds me why I teach, kind of what we were talking about before, Kayla. And it's kind of interesting because even though he loses his job, like he kind of wins because he planted the seed, you know. So
and he still keeps his dignity at the end of the day. And
right.
Like his that relationship with those kids is always going to be there, and they're always going to remember him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the education was never about the text or the like book.
Yeah.
Or the grade. It was about the relationship. Well,
that's why I love that scene where they were ripping out the pages from that chapter that was just like trying to explain to you how to be a poet or how making it into a science. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like true artistry cannot be taught. It's not something you can. I mean, it can in a sense, but
it can be taught, but it's not measured.
No,
that's what he said.
No, and it's like true artistry comes from the individual who is making the art. You know what I mean? I think that's beautiful because
we talk about that too, even with the basketball boys. Like I can sit and tell you all the right things to do, but ultimately, like you need to have IQ of the court. Like you have to. You know, I think that's to be said in everything that we do is that there needs to be the wiggle room to have that freedom of thinking so that you can be a playmaker, so that you can make the decisions. Because if we all did everything by the book, if we all did things the same way, then nothing would ever work because like you
wouldn't have your Kobe Bryants or your Michael Jordans or
you
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if you all knew every play by the book, then no one would score. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Did you know UW-Madison kind of recruited me to be on the rowing team?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got a letter, and I went to camp.
You should have did it.
I didn't because of my knee stuff.
Don't they call that crew?
They do.
You told me that 30 minutes ago. I remember.
I'm so glad.
You taught me that.
Thanks for listening.
You're a teacher at heart.
I am an educator.
I
am an educator.
I am an educator.
Every time you come on the show, I learn something new. So
that was really kind of you. And that is like the best compliment I can receive. Hence why people probably think of me when they watch this movie, because I love teaching and intellect and thinking and deep thoughts.
It's all the themes of this film. I was just waiting for Voldemort to show up.
That's not it. I disagree. I got very little Harry Potter vibes.
Really?
But
the outfits, the sneaking around in the dark, the ravens.
Kayla thinks all white people look alike, so that's part of the problem.
No, the whole setting. Come on, the fucking school looked like Hogwarts.
The movie I was picking up was The Holdovers, which is also about an East Coast high school boarding school and a teacher.
He hasn't seen Harry Potter.
I also haven't seen Harry Potter, but I feel like Harry Potter's more gothic.
It is, and it's more fantastical.
Yeah,
just so you know, I almost picked Harry Potter as the.
I think we should do Harry Potter sometime because he hasn't seen. I think we should do the original, the first one.
Yeah,
that's the most magical one out of all of them.
Oh,
yes. Yep.
That's my boy, my son. You look me in the eyes and tell me Goblet of Fire isn't.
Goblet of Fire is fire. No pun intended.
So good. Harry, Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
That was pretty intense. I like the games and stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
That's your first introduction of Voldemort.
Is that when you play Quidditch?
No, they play Quidditch in every fucking movie. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
Talking about the Tri-Wizard Tournament.
Fuck off. You're not in this.
Tournament.
Earlier we brought up Harry Potter and like what house are you?
Oh, I'm definitely
Slytherin?
No.
Ravenclaw. Hufflepuff.
No, I'm definitely
There's only 4, so
Gryffindor.
You're Gryffindor?
Yes.
Have you taken the official quiz?
No, but I feel
You
like
need
I
to.
would be Gryffindor. Because this heart is gold.
What are you?
So I'm really into this right now because Hogwarts Legacy just came out for Switch, and me and one of my best friends, Connor, who's a mental health specialist, we literally talk at work about Harry Potter all the time now, and I'm really invested. Like this is just really in my life right now.
Okay.
Right now, and so I took the Harry Potter quiz back in 2013 to. Why are you
It's
laughing?
just 11 years ago, and that hurt my heart.
What do you mean?
Just that 2013 is 11 years ago, and that
I was a freshman in
So
college.
you remember your results from 11 years ago?
Well, because I have an active account.
Okay.
Because I go back. So I officially am Gryffindor, but I'm Ravenclaw adjacent. So like in Hogwarts Legacy, I'm currently playing a Ravenclaw, even though I'm actually a Gryffindor.
What am
Who
I
was
like,
in
a Hufflepuff?
Ravenclaw in the movie?
Cho Chang.
I don't think I remember this character.
It's literally Harry's first love interest. Are you kidding?
Oh, she was
Order
the
of
only
Phoenix?
Asian girl in the movie.
Correct. Her name is Cho Chang. That's
No.
part of the
That's-
reason
that's
J.K. Rowling is a
racist.
piece of shit. Yes.
That's like naming the black character in Harry Potter Daryl or something. Or Jerome. We got Harry Potter and Jerome.
I was actually going to suggest Harry Potter,
Jerome.
but there's so
Niggadry.
much.
I mean, wizardry.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Whenever we're ready. I mean,
you signed up for this. I just want you to know. You should expect this kind of stuff when you come here.
It's my 4th time.
Okay.
I got the gist.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm a Gryffindor. I have a cherry wand with unicorn hair. I think it's 7.5 inches, slightly yielding. What else? Oh, my Manx, my Patronus is a Manx cat.
A Manx cat?
Manx. So.
If I was in Harry Potter, I'd ride one of those fucking griffins. Hippogriffs. And I'd fucking... Expecto Patronum.
Michael has no idea what we're talking about.
Michael, you need to watch the first Harry Potter. It's magical.
Zero clue. Mythical March.
Oh
my god.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Harry Potter, and then we're moving on. We're not doing 4.
No,
Harry
we
Potters
should
in a
do
row.
Harry Potter, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, and Never Ending Story.
There you go.
There you go.
Never Ending Story has got great practical effects.
You could also do Twilight. Number 2.
And Twilight, Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Wind.
New Moon is next.
Oh.
This is Breaking Wind. Get it? You howl.
You should watch oh god. What is the parody that came out?
For
Do you know
Twilight?
what? Yes, it's like because she literally like farts in her sleep when Edward's watching. Like that's like a whole scene. It's so bad.
Is it like one of those epic movie?
Yes, it literally
One
is.
of those.
Have you ever seen? Okay, let's answer this question real quick. Because have we done let the hate flow through?
No.
Okay, let's do this, and then we'll talk about some other stuff.
Okay.
All right, let the hate flow through.
Okay.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
There wasn't a lot that I hated in this movie. I think the one thing that kind of bothered me was the underutilization of Robin Williams' character. I thought that he wasn't fleshed out enough. You kind of have that little side thing where he has Neil in the office and they're talking. And there's a picture of his wife or girlfriend, and he just mentions she's in England or something. I wish we had a little bit more to his character. I wish that he was around more. I wish that he said a little bit more because I think he had some of the best lines in the movie. I mean, he was really just reciting poetry the entire time, but I thought he had some powerful moments. The other teachers at the school were very one note. Everybody was just angry white men, and there wasn't much else to it. Maybe that's just how it is at
Welcome
those types
to
of schools.
education.
Yeah, that could definitely be it. Yeah, not a lot to really pick apart. I thought the performances were fantastic.
Okay, the whole Knox subplot where he's pursuing this girl.
Yeah.
Has not aged well. Very stalkerish behavior is rewarded in a way that's written like it doesn't make it like she's up until like it's like
You're
a light.
so infuriating.
It's like a light
so
switch. She's fucking despises him and doesn't want him around until just like light switch.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I do want to fuck you."
Like, oh yes, we can go on this date, even though I literally just said we cannot. Like 2 minutes before.
Yeah.
Terrible writing. That whole subplot can just go. Or like you said, it should have ended after the first time he asked her out, and he's like, "Doesn't," because like that makes sense. You stepped outside of your comfort zone. You took a swing. So what? You missed. Move along.
And that's a good lesson to learn. That sometimes the things that you swing at aren't always gonna.
And I hate this
connect.
because it teaches the total wrong lesson.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And especially in a movie that's like a coming of age movie, I feel like lots of teens are going to watch this, you know.
They're like, "Oh, I can kiss somebody unknowingly at a party."
If you just keep showing up when they tell you to stop, eventually they'll fall in love with you.
What was it on Family Guy where it was like a James Bond cutaway, and he was like, "You will have sex with me." She's like, "No." He was like, "You will have sex with me." She's like, "Okay, yes." He was like, "See, 15 no's means yes."
I want the cutscene where Knox like talks to Mr. Keating about all the things he's doing, and he goes like, "What the fuck? You keep showing? You showed up at her school?" Like, and he's like, "No. This is not what I meant when I said seize the day." Like, absolutely not.
Respect people's boundaries.
For sure.
And I just hate rich people, so all these it's full of rich people.
Yeah, it's like you were saying earlier. It's hard to sympathize. And because it's like, I want to be an actor, you know? And it's also like, shut the fuck up and go be a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop being a little bitch and just go make that money. You know what I'm saying? But that's like, that's another, it shows their privilege. Because it's like, I could be a doctor, but I'd rather be a fucking actor and not do shit.
Also, that's what his dad's point is, because he's the one kid that's like not super rich.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We don't have money for you to fuck around and be a liberal arts major. Like, go do something that makes money."
That just reminds me of the story of the kid. There's this movie called Into the Wild about this kid who, he was a rich kid. And I think he actually went to Northwestern. And he was like, "I don't want to do this anymore. I have my whole life planned out for me. My father wants me to become like a stockbroker or dude, whatever, you know, make a lot of money somehow." He's like, "No, I'm going to drop off the radar and go backpacking and live out in the wilderness of Alaska." He doesn't make it like a week in Alaska. He fucking dies in a bus by himself.
Yeah.
And that's his story. And it's like, that just shows your privilege. Like you can just choose to like leave everything behind and, I don't care. You can choose to not care.
And I think
the rest of us have to care.
A bit of unearned confidence.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Well, it's like, it speaks to like that invincibility factor where that's how they feel, you know?
There's a previous valedictorian at my high school who went to UW-Madison and dropped out and became a man who lives in a national forest in Wisconsin. Very similar to that.
Okay.
And they call him the Goat Man of Gillette.
That's wild.
That sounds sick. Is he anything like the Milwaukee Wolverine?
No.
Is he anything like the fawn from Narnia?
Kind of.
Okay.
I'm sure. So, but yeah, and so I hear what you're saying too, Kaylin, and I think the idea, because you're like, we don't have the choice, and I hear that, and that's so valid, and that's also the problem, is like systemically none of us have the choice except these super rich white people, right? So it's just interesting because to see them grapple with said choice and still come out, like, to me, I kind of almost read it as like, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Like, if even the richest and the most privileged of us fall victim to this, then like what hope do we have unless the whole system changes?
Yeah, it just speaks to the system and how broken it is. Like,
Right.
It's just nothing we can really do about it. It just affects everybody.
Except break the glasses and turn over in our beds.
Or put a bullet.
Or stand on a desk.
Yeah, turn the lights on and just have a little circular like circus happening. Do you remember that when they started jumping on the beds around the room?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cute. And then all of a sudden that was my one critique of this movie is where did the drums and the like flute come from?
They started rapping.
Yeah.
Well, they were free poetry and rap,
Yeah, but that was rapping. They had a beat and everything. They're like, yeah.
But like, where did the drums and the other little horn come from?
They're just always ready. You know,
that was my one critique. I'm like, there's no way that we have a ragtag band.
One thing
going on
I've
right
learned
now.
about like high school, middle school white boys is like they're all fucking insane, and also like they always just have the most random shit on them at all times. Like they're just ready for a kegger. They're
Good
ready.
thing I brought my saxophone.
But yet they won't have, their inhaler on them.
Yeah, they have no socks on, but they have their saxophone. You know? I haven't changed their underwear for 3 days.
You ever seen that video of that little middle school white kid? He was skateboarding. He was like, and he fell. He's like, dude, that hurt like a butt cheek on a stick.
Yeah.
They should be studied, honestly.
Yes, we should study what teenage boys,
middle school white children, white boys, middle school white boys. They need to be studied.
Like zoo enclosure, just
yeah,
habitat.
I think like maybe
have their own like a biodome. Just drop it a bunch of like,
come to
and it's just it's a bunch of
practice.
televisions with Fortnite on it, and then
God,
a bunch of 6th grade white boys. They'd be like blowing each other up in like 3 days.
5 hours later.
Dead Poet Society
Shall
is
we
a
move-
movie that we watched.
it is a movie.
Shut. Shall we move along? Is this a perfect movie?
You lost a baby brother. Perfect in every way.
I had a baby brother. I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect. Perfect in every way.
Who wants to go first? Nose goes. Damn.
I think
So
our
it's
guest should
me?
answer first.
Yeah.
The one who picked this movie should.
I kind of think yes. To be honest, this is at least in my now top 3, if not my new favorite movie. Which is like, is it perfect in every aspect? No, but again, I think when you consider the time it was created, it's like, oh, like it still resonates with me this many years later. It still feels important.
I would be inclined to say yes, that this is. It's. I like the human aspects of it, where it doesn't feel like they're trying to shove a message down our throat. It doesn't feel like they're being too pretentious either, where it's like, oh, we're at this academia and we're all artists, and it's not like that. It's very human, real. These are just kids at the end of the day. Yeah, they may have some money, they may be going to a private school, whatever, going to be a doctor. They're still people, and I think that was shown very well in this.
So I'm a little torn because I feel like about 80% of this movie, I was like, this is fine. Like, it's a good movie. But I wasn't like, wow, I'm really into this. You know? I was like, this is fine, but, can't really relate to these rich kids. They're a little too eccentric and, like, specific, I guess, for me to, like, relate to them. Last third or so takes, like, real serious turn that I wasn't expecting it to make, and I was pretty invested by that point. But like my overall, like, I don't know. But then thinking out on it just, overnight and in this morning, like it kind of grew in my estimation as I thought about it more.
Yeah, same.
So I guess I'm landing on it is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Let's go.
I kind of compare this movie to, you ever seen the movie Perks of Being a Wallflower?
No, but Halo
so
adjacent.
This is like the worst version of this. Or the Perks of Being a Wallflower is like the worst, the more bad version. I don't know how.
There's a lot of
this movie where it's like it tries to do these themes of like, oh, we're different and we're trying to be, artists, or we're trying to be, there are kids who are gay in the film as well, but it's also like it's really fucking pretentious and just kind of like insulting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To where it's like you have to hold the audience's hand and like to tell these people that this is okay to be this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like this movie is kind of like, well, as a matter of fact, we are human. And I don't know. I just think this was a lot smarter,
like more natural. Almost.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much as like a message,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like early mid 2000s like indie core movies that have just not aged great, that are about like eccentric white people learning things about themselves.
Yeah.
And like they're all like unemployed but somehow still have money, and like might have like actually a pretty privileged background, but they're upset about this specific thing that's turning them down.
Yeah.
Like that was like a big genre
like Perks
at the
of Being a
time.
Wallflower had Ezra Miller in it, and I think there's like a scene of him putting on lipstick and he's going like, it's just like, why do we need this to convey that this character is gay? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want it to come across that this is a normal thing, just have him be a normal person. You know what I mean? Or have him like, just like you think about Neil's character, where he was just a guy and he wasn't like he wasn't trying to be something different. Like he just was different.
Have you seen Little Miss Sunshine?
No.
Steve Carell in Little Miss Sunshine is just like Steve Carell. Like it's him, but playing a little depressed, but he is a gay man, but he's not this like, doesn't have to be this like flaming stereotype to just to be relatable and believable.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. We should do that sometime. But anyways,
Sunshine.
Dead Poets Society. It's a perfect movie. Put it on the list. I need to remember to do that. So it's been a successful Friends February.
Two perfect movies.
Two perfect movies in a row.
Did you say Nacho Libre?
Nacho Libre got inducted.
I love Nacho Libre.
She's making suspect face. She doesn't appreciate Nacho Libre, but that's okay. Different strokes, different folks. You like boys in big sweaters.
Oh,
you don't like
God.
boys in ponchos.
Yeah. You don't like sweaty wrestling and...
I don't.
luchadors.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
Maybe we'll have to have you back on for our Harry Potter.
Oh my God, I would be so down.
Yeah.
I'd be your... The thing is, Harry Potter was the first novel I read. Like,
dang, that's a big one.
Yeah. I learned to read when I was 4, so...
That's a big one. Yeah.
I was reading it when I was 6.
The first novel I read was the Bible.
You know, the thing about that one is like one of the main characters doesn't really get introduced to like 2/3 of the way through. There's a whole like break, and it starts. It's a little lore heavy in the front.
Oh, the Bible.
The Bible.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Harry Potter. I was like,
both of them.
It's like literally the first page they talk about.
And there's a real kind of bait and switch with our guy towards the end of the Bible, if you know what I'm saying. And I felt like that was a little hokey.
This is what happens when you bring up religion around Michael. This is what happens.
I'm like, how did you roll away that stone? That doesn't make any sense.
Yo, all right. My parents are.
You're the one that said that the Bible was a novel.
It was a joke.
That means it's fiction.
I think that the Bible is in itself a library.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, we need to shut this off.
It's a compilation of books.
We're not talking about the Bible anymore. I'm shutting this shit down.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
goodbye.
Captain.
Until, oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Bye.
Bye.